Wow. I'm actually like, my fingers are moving too fast for my own damn buttons. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Show, the Gonzo Radio Network, a special edition of the Gonzo Radio Show. This one will be without my lovely and talented co-host, Sam Singh. We will be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. at our usual start time. This is a special edition and is a special start time of 6:05. Yes, 6:05. We intended on it to start at 6:05 and as disjointed as possible moving in. But seated across from me, I don't want to blow like any more smoke up their ass than they've already had blown up their ass today. They are legendary. They are my guests. They are all three close personal friends, and one of them actually lives with me. Seated from your left to your right, it is Jack Theis. His real name's Kevin, but you can call him Jack. That's his professional name. Please do. You go right into cop mode. Are you a cop? You got to tell me you're a cop if you're a cop.
How much money you got? I'll be whatever you need me to be.
That's a lot. And seated next to him is Ron, who doesn't want to get the microphone too close to his face. Fox, is it an aesthetic thing or?
It doesn't really matter, but you can also call me Jack if you'd like.
Right. Okay.
In fact, I'd like to be called for the rest of this show, Jack Bone Daddy.
No.
That's not happening.
And seated next to him,
I would like to throw a flag right there.
The man who is too cool for school.
You're
The man who's too cool for school. He is the director. He is the ringleader. He is the guy that motivated all these young people for this phenomenon known as the Wild and Untamed Things. He is known by many, many names. We call him Russ. He is the one and only Ruuuuusss Cohen.
That's R. 3 U's, 3 S's. Say it slow. Say it long. Say it slow, say it long. Russ. Try it. See, you're smiling, aren't
Uncle
you?
Russ to some people, Daddy
Uncle
Russ.
Russ.
Yeah, Uncle and Daddy Russ. It got a little weird with the designations and assignations, but what you're seeing here, kids, are the cool kids that came before me in the Rocky Horror Picture Show in South Florida. Not that I'm any sort of big Rocky Horror icon, but these were their show at the Deerfield Ultravision, which is now a church, which is now
Chipotle.
They tore it down.
Yeah.
It's gone.
We were just there.
You sure God just didn't smite that ground and just
in
lay
fact,
waste to lay it clear?
The North Theater where it was is now a parking lot between two buildings.
No, honestly, Gonzo, if God was going to smite it, he would have done it about a month after they turned the Ultravision into a church. But apparently he was perfectly fine with turning the Ultravision into a church, so there's no way that 15 years after that he's going to go, you know what? I'm really offended by your Chipotle. Here's my wrath. That was not in the cards.
It's like some of that's got to wash.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, that gives hope to people of all ages everywhere in the world who might have, come up from bad beginnings. See?
Yeah.
At any point.
Well, he didn't come up from bad beginnings. What do you call the beginnings bad?
No, I'm not calling the beginnings of the Ultravision bad. I'm just saying that transference from hallowed theater of entertainment to another theater not so hallowed of entertainment.
Well, yes, but a lot of you have gone. There's one thing that I've noticed from that cast and from subsequent casts that were very close to that cast, 2 or 3 generations down, is that a lot of strippers and actors came out of those casts. A lot of strippers and a lot of actors.
It became very flexible on the brass pole. It's true.
Yes,
we were also a good-looking
became
group.
both.
That's a great point. Speak for yourself. Well, okay, him too.
Bunch of
All right,
savages.
all of us.
Jack's over there like, nah, me. I went to work. I really acted. I got married. I'm a responsible adult. Damn it.
No, I mean, what I loved about that period was people made their own choices about their own lives. One of the crazy things that I look at today's generation and our generation back then, we didn't have social media. We didn't think about if you, whatever you decided to do. Can you imagine if we had Facebook back in 1984 when Billy Boyd was alive?
We'd all be in prison.
So much trouble.
We'd all be in prison.
It would be ridiculous if half of the episodes that Ron and I describe in Confessions of a Transylvanian were actually something that we'd posted on Facebook or like shared with YouTube. Number one, no. This is true though of anything that you write about. As soon as you set pen to paper, it's not going to be what it really is. It's going to be how you remember it.
Not only that, but half the cast were underage girls, you know.
Well, yes. I wasn't going to point that out, Russ, but thanks for drawing a line underneath that point.
We're talking 40 years ago. It's not going to matter now.
Gee, that's so comforting. So many of the women who are listening.
We've consulted lawyers
and
about
for,
this.
for parents with daughters, it's encouraging stuff.
Now, wait. Now, listen. Back then, that was a wild time.
It was.
Okay, it really was.
And I'd like there's one thing though I want to interject here. This cast really took care of their own.
Right.
Very, 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 very protective of
okay, all right.
themselves.
Well, first of all, why don't we get to the meat of the bone that we're here to pick, or we're here to share with everybody, and that is the book, the property, the center of this universe right now.
For which this shirt refers, and right here.
Yes. Oh, wait, I've got graphics, you know. I mean, you guys did go to the
you
trouble
did.
of sending me pretty pictures.
Look at that.
We did. It's
Look
true.
at that. Actual author's chest. Now, I've repeatedly told you guys this as I've read the book. I would have to consider 1 3/4 time, one all the way through, and then I've gone back and I've looked at excerpts, and I've gone back recently and looked at excerpts, and it reads like a fun screenplay. It really does. Whether it's your stage script writing expertise, or your stunt show writing expertise. There we go. It's available in hardcover for those of you that actually like, books that there's no smell like a book. Books are awesome. They really are. Even in this day and age, important. The quotes are very important. This project, this property, if you will, it's got a lot of blessings. It's got a lot of sure, kid, go ahead. It was a great story. We liked it. Go ahead. Why not turn it into a motion picture or an series?
Episodic, right?
Something episodic.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've discussed it. I mean, we've discussed it in our crazy poolside smoking a cigar and having a scotch, discussions that we've had, both in the previous show that you were on, which, yes, he's been here before. I've had him twice. This will be 2.5 times now, right?
You can have me as many times as you'd like.
Right. Okay. Well,
Right.
I don't think you can.
No matter
I don't think that's physically possible.
It seems like the first time every time.
I like that. That could almost be a lyric to a song.
Right. And not to marginalize you, Russ. I mean, even though you are known for your organizational skills and your personality. Okay, and that made you a natural leader for these kids. But I mean, you were surrounded by thespians. You were surrounded by some creative, entertaining, and really talented kids.
It was amazing. We were several of us went on to entertainment careers. Ron's in Orlando with both Universal and Disney, and still with the Disney organization, I believe at this time, right? Mm-hmm. Jack, unbelievable. I mean, director, actor, several television appearances.
IMDb him. Go ahead. I dare you.
Whatever Jack touches, you can IMDb either one of us, but Jack's prolific.
Our Frankenfurter went on to write plays and do some off-Broadway work. Yeah, I mean, just a very talented group of people here. It was just the perfect storm of people. I mean,
You were instrumental in that.
Well, I was
Can't
more.
be Demir. You really do have to take credit. You were instrumental in that.
Well, you were a rough group of divas, but what are you going to do? You know, we did what we had to do.
I'm
You
just
know?
talking about us.
Oh, divas. Well, I'm sure you meant someone else.
Well, listen. You guys had a large group. I mean, I've got a picture. I'm prepared with you. Well, actually, I asked them to prepare for me, but I am prepared. I have come with pictures. I've come with handsome headshots of one of the authors. Yes. And there's another.
Looks like the dick cop to me.
There's another shot of the other author.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
I love that. photo.
It's a dignified shot.
All right,
I love
wait.
that
That
photo.
picture was on the pool deck
love
at
that
my house
photo.
when I was a kid.
1982.
I was like 15,
That's
16 years
right.
old.
That is so
and
early 80s.
the gentleman that is
Donnie and
giving
Ron.
me that is
Yeah.
it's Donnie, who was featured in the book as
One
well.
of my favorite human beings ever.
Oh my gosh!
We were just
Well, we do
talking about-
have other pictures. We do have other pictures,
I'm just
more
saying,
dignified pictures, like this one. Okay, we got this. This is in my office where this is my studio. I do have another office area. I've got this signed.
Oh, this is like the career of Emilio Estevez. No, keep going.
He looks like a stunt double from Full House.
Yeah.
He looks like he takes the photo.
Can
One.
Can I hum
This
this?
one. Was
Can
this
I hum
before
the
you made a
St.
country
Elmo's
music
theme
album?
while you're doing this?
Was
Want to
this-
be your man in motion.
This is the Ronnie Fox country album. Is that what that was?
It's a story about a lost dog and a broken down
I
truck.
guess, right?
Oh, and then just said,
Oh my God! Oh,
St. Elmo's fire. Yeah.
this guy looks like he's going to sue you. He does.
Yeah.
He looks. You have never looked more like
Or
a
Colombian
Jewish
drug
lawyer, a young, aggressive Jewish lawyer in my life.
I'm just missing the thick gold chain and the Star of David.
Did you fall down outside of the Publix? Call Moskowitz and Fox this weekend.
I want
can
you to
get
meet
you
my little
millions.
friend.
He will
And
take
then
care of
last
you.
but not least, and this one's the one that's in the front, and it's a classic. It's from way back when, because we all know that
boy.
you're 104 years old, and it's way back when you co-starred in that Lucy and Ricky movie,
The
by
long,
Desi Lou.
the long hairdo.
But that's
Yeah,
that's
you had
totally
that good hair,
right there. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, that good
Weekend
hair.
at Bernie's.
Yeah.
You know.
and we love you so much that we keep these in our office, and we see them every day. I rotate them. Like
I'm humbled.
You know, well, they're there. Are
We
you
should
kidding?
not be ambushed by our more hair filled.
Listen,
Look at my video here. Like, where
All
my
right.
fucking hair go?
Hair. Who needs hair?
Right.
Hair is for lesser talented
Where
people.
we're going, we don't need hair.
Right. Exactly. And the other, you know who's disgusting with hair? You know who's disgusting with their hair? And they're 61 fucking years old and they've got gray hair. Take your hat off, Russ.
It's all there.
It maybe he had hair, but he's got hair. He
all
has. It's
fucking
he's ridiculous.
61, baby.
He's ridiculous.
If I had that kind of hair, I would never buy a fucking hat or put it on.
Right. I'm serious.
I don't know how
right.
we didn't cause him to lose his hair.
It's just,
How that didn't happen is beyond me.
Whatever. I got good skin too, you know.
I got good skin.
He applies the same rules to his life that he does to the rules that he laid down with you guys when in handling your problems. It's like
No
life too
stress.
short. Why no stress?
That's it.
Just get it done. Okay, let's go. Let's get it
Right,
done.
right.
Okay. I mean, I live with the guy, and when either he pisses me off or I'm pissed off, and he doesn't come back reactive, and it almost makes me madder. Like yell back. What? Oh yeah, you're right. Fuck you anyway. You know, it's just like, okay, fine then.
Diffuse.
Diffuse. I'm ready. I am stomping. I'm pawing at the ground. Steam is coming out of my nose and my ears. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to charge across the room. He's like, okay. I was like, fine. And I just leave. Well, that's enough here then.
Well, I found that to be true of most of the people I've met since I was 16 years old, involved in this crew. I've never.
He's a great
had
diplomat. He
fight.
should have been an ambassador or something.
Well, I'm not just talking about. No, I'm not just talking about Russ. I don't fight with these people.
Well, you don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, we've known each other so long. You know, I don't get along with everybody.
Yeah, well, I think you're a prick too, but you love me too, so it's
Right.
okay.
But I trust them with my life. You know, these are the people who are probably
Almost 40 years. There is a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
A lot to be said. So much.
Yeah,
But you can never say, I agree with every choice they've ever made. I agree with everything they've ever said about me. No, but these are some of the closest friends I've ever known in my life.
Great photo. Great photo.
oh my God.
These people have
Nice
my
bow tie,
goodness,
Russ.
Yeah.
Well, that was typical fashion of the day.
Yours truly is wearing, I guess, a blue sweater.
In my hand is a fedora, by the way.
I love it. How wonderful.
I just the hair,
That's
the hair.
That's 82.
We
Yeah.
look like the cast of Newsies or something. Seriously.
It's Andrea, Cheryl,
Yeah,
Sunday, Ron,
it's
Kenny,
Kenny,
me, Tony, and Pop.
Felicia.
All I know is
Storm
I see
hanging,
some hair models in there for the
Michelle,
'80s.
you
Okay,
betcha.
Andy down.
that's some good hair.
Farrah Fawcett was my inspiration back
That
then.
Michelle Kohler, right?
I don't know who that is on the.
Yeah.
That's Michelle Kohler.
Yes, that's
Trust me,
correct.
I know it's Michelle Kohler.
That's
Don't ask
correct.
how I know it's Michelle
Yeah,
Kohler,
the
but I
other
know
one-
it's
the
Michelle
other one
Kohler.
is, Michigan. What the hell?
Michelle.
Michigan.
Michelle.
All right. Now listen. Let's go ahead and explain this once and for all for the very few people who have never figured this out. Okay, let us remember now that it was the early '80s. Okay, you PC SJ dubs, you social justice warriors. So, spritz a little water on it or whatever. Okay, we had a sorority of girls that were a bit on the heavy side. They were named after the sorority of girls that were a bit on the heavy side from Revenge of the Nerds, called the Omega Moos.
Omega Mu.
Okay, the Omega Mu sorority, which was in a movie. Okay, one of those movies that is not PC that you see on you see on Cinemax every once in a while, and you see your mom or dad sitting in front of the TV just laughing their asses off, and you sniff the air and go, they didn't smoke a joint. Why are they laughing so hard? But that's one of those non-PC, really hilarious movies. And we had various girls that were a little on the heavy side that did happen to frequent the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And that's where they also felt included and where they also had a great time. But the same was, I was a big guy and I got called names and I got joked with and I got fucked with. Guess what? So did they, and we called them the Omega Moos. And there was Minnesota, Mighty. Rush, you got to help me
It
out.
was a Mega Mu.
Omega.
Just Mega, not Omega.
Mega.
Just Mega Mu.
Mega.
There was Mondo Mu,
Mondo. Oh yes, Mondo.
Monstrous Mu.
Yeah, yikes. We don't want to name any names there. I think there's a lawsuit involved there, but we had a sorority of our own for the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And big
Most
girls,
of-
we still love you.
Right. But most of those girls were post Ultravision though.
And them big girls was getting some love too. I mean, when somebody says fat bitches need love too, guess what? Fat bitches was getting love. Okay, they really were. I mean, are you feeling a little uncomfortable, Ron, because I'm saying fat bitches need love
No,
too?
not at all.
I am a big fan of the phrase
we
"fat
had a
bitches
couple
need love too."
groupies, you know.
That includes me. Fat bitches need love too. I mean, I am. Listen, I am Mr. February for the upcoming ChubbyChasers.com.
Honestly, Gonzo, I'm appreciating every single moment of what's happening here because I'm just reveling in the fact that almost 40 years later, here we are. Here we are. I mean, I challenge anybody in any cast anywhere in the world to say, hey, 5 years later, we're all still in touch on a regular basis. So
Yeah, well,
everything
even-
else that comes with it, even in the fringe orbit.
Right, we're not
is so
just in
beautiful.
touch. I mean, we're family at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
there is no there is no uneasiness. There is no
It's like we all
unfamiliarity.
lanced our wrist and did a blood pact together.
You know,
And I'm the weird cousin.
But every time we
I
get
am the
together,
weird
there's no
cousin, though.
problem with
we'll take it.
with our personalities. There's no problem coming up with things that to talk about and
Oh my
everything
gosh,
else.
that's
is,
so true.
You know,
This
No,
entire weekend.
No,
That's so
but
true.
I think part of the sort of hesitation when you brought up your earlier subject, Gonzo, was, there is a permissiveness and an inclusiveness in Rocky Horror that is almost untrue of any other subset of this society, which is whatever you want to do, whoever you want to be, whatever lifestyle you choose to partake in, you're welcome here.
Don't dream it, be it.
They might exclude you in high school,
Right.
for because you're odd or because you're fat or
Fuck
because
high
you're
school.
whatever.
Can I tell you that right now?
No. I mean but I'm saying,
And I was
when
popular
when
in
I
fuck
joined,
high
we're talking
school.
about high school, but
Right.
but that's what I mean. The when it hurts the most is when you're an adolescent and you're not sure of who you are, and you and especially back in our day, there wasn't a social network of people that we could reach out to. There wasn't
so there was no support.
You didn't know you couldn't go to a website of LGBTQsupport.com that didn't exist. If you were gay or transgender or and just in any way different in the 80s, you had no place to go. You had no place to go.
Yeah.
And now you have networks that you can reach out to, and there's all these different resources that you can take part in. But Rocky Horror was a kind of a gateway to that, where you knew that if you joined it and you were kind of different, that they were going to accept you no matter who you were. And if you were to announce one day in this group that you were gay, we didn't care.
Be
We
like,
didn't
yeah,
judge
so
you. And
huge shock.
but that's the equivalent today of someone saying, I'm transgender, I'm and people would get kicked out of their houses if they announced to their parents that they were gay.
Oh God, yes.
And
I
they go
saw
live
it personally.
They go live with Russ in the orphanage because
Yep.
he didn't give a shit about pay the rent. But
Is your gay money?
it's the thing. So I see pictures of people on your site, and I see pictures. And my son, my daughter, they're both in the LGBTQ community, and
Your kids are fantastic.
but they have to be allowed to be who they are. There has to be that outlet where you can be who you are. And for us, it was Rocky Horror. The first gay kids I ever met were after I joined Rocky Horror. And do you know the guts it takes to be gay back in the 80s at 17 or 16?
Oh, and to be out there,
Out.
Jack, you make a great point about that. I think for me in Rocky and with our cast, the only thing I cared about was if you were kind. I didn't care about orientation of any kind. I didn't care how you
Right.
dressed, what you drove.
Yeah.
You have to be kind.
I mean,
That was important to me.
Mark, who's the one who's missing right now, because I really should have been prepared for 4 across instead of 3 across. And love you, Mark. Wish you were here.
We love you.
Really do. But Mark was one of the very first out people I had ever met in
for Jack, I think that's the
1982.
First, yeah.
Gay teenager
Mark was
you
the
knew,
first out gay man I ever met.
Yeah, me too. And that was incredibly. We're talking 1982.
Yeah,
We're not talking 88.
No,
We're not
and
talking about
he was only
82.
yeah, he was like 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
and all I could think was, oh, what a brave person you are, because there wasn't any hesitation like, oh my God, you're gay.
Right.
Because a lot of people have that fear, like, oh, if you're gay, you're going to come on to me.
Well, listen, Mark is, as you guys both know, as you guys all 3 know, as everybody who's in the other rooms know, Mark is an amazing, amazing guy who's extremely, extremely talented,
Yep.
and just happens to be gay.
And
I mean, it's simple as that.
kind-hearted.
Okay.
But
Kind-hearted.
super talented.
Yeah.
Very.
He's a brilliant actor, writer.
Yeah, that was actually that was sometimes a problem for me on stage when I worked with him. Was I'd be so enamored with his performance on stage,
Yeah.
I'd forget to pay attention to my own performance that I was supposed to be doing in my blocking.
You're
I
like,
was like,
Ron, line.
yeah, right.
But he's writing. He's writing too. He's got a new
Right.
play that.
Yeah, that's the reason why I think if you guys waive the scripts and screenplays that you're going to put together, you have to wave them under his nose.
Yeah.
You have to give him a read.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he'll have notes.
But that's
And
true.
they will be surgically precise.
Well, that's true of so many people involved in this
Right.
group. Is they're so talented. They're so funny. I mean, before we released this book, we brought copies down of a draft of Confessions, and we gave it to them all, and we said, there it is.
What did we miss? Right.
What did we miss? But also just look through it for typos. Look through anything. Read it, and
You trusted
for
that to
accuracy.
these people.
Right.
These people.
These lunatics.
These people.
We just want to see our names. That's all.
But you know what else? I'm just going to say this. The other thing we said was, look, if you don't want your real name involved in this project,
Hey, Tracy, Lou.
you tell us, and we'll change your name, and
Yeah.
we won't identify you later or anything like that. So there are not many, not very many. There are some people in the book whose names aren't real, but most of the people whose names appear in the book, they said, no, that's the way it happened. But the other thing we said was, look, we'll change your name, but we won't change the story because everything that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
To the best of our recollection.
That's
To the best of our recollection,
That's right.
Russ.
Based on true events.
I said nothing.
I love that. I love that, Lisa. The
and
comment about us
statutes
being
of limitations. What was that? What was that, Ron?
Lisa made a post about us. The land of misfit toys. What a great way
Sure.
of describing Rocky cast members.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, let me tell you, one of the first times, actually the first time that I got punched in the face,
Someone punched you in the face?
defending somebody from the LGBTQ, a gay guy, all right, I got punched in the face, and I said, okay, you missed the little gay guy, and you hit me. What are you going to do? And they just, we're leaving. Fuck you. It's like, yeah, exactly. Okay. And at that juncture, I was like, I'm down with the underdog. It's as simple as that. I'm down with the underdog.
Right.
Okay, in every instance. And there's been a couple of instances where I've backed a gay friend who was having just a queen moment, drunken queen moment. But I backed my friend who happened to be gay. Okay, but I've had stupider friends who are straight, who sometimes have a southern accent, and it's, y'all can suck my dick, y'all can and you know what? And you back that kind of friend too because they're your friend. Okay? The amazing part about the Rocky Horror Picture Show is that it completely blurred the line for me. I grew up in the 70s Florida. Okay, it was fags and I'm not going to drop an N-bomb, but okay, it was all faggot this and N-bomb that. Okay, it was a little bit of that southern charm down here before our Cuban friends moved down or moved up. And you grew up with that. That was ubiquitous in the southern lexicon. Okay, but I never really fully got it because I lived in Opelika for a while. Had a lot of black friends as a young guy. So the racism thing didn't really stick with me. And then as a young kid, 16, 17, 18 years old, I got into the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The gay thing never really stuck with me. And as it went on, it's an integral part of a lot of things that have changed my life for the better, making it positive. So, I mean, I get up on my soapbox and go, I like gay people and black people, but I like people who happen to be gay and black, and or black, or brown, or lesbian, or transgender, or just like to cross-dress. Okay? Cross-dressers are funny. Cross-dressers are some of the funniest fucking people in the world. I mean, come on. Okay, so now that I've had my soapbox moment and I didn't pound the table because I don't want like the cameras to vibrate. Back to the book. Back to the proposed project. Okay, as somebody who is constantly needling the two of you, what is it going to be? Is it going to be episodic? Is it going to be a movie? Is it going to be a 2-part movie? Is it going to be a 4-part miniseries? I mean, I know I'm not in it. I don't care if I'm in it. I just want to know. Okay, you know, if I keep telling you guys every time I say, you were the cool kids. You were the guys that were out there doing the cool shit. I was just some ambivalent football-playing idiot out in Coral Springs hanging around my friend Cheryl. My friend Cheryl Woda was the first one to drag me out to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, to your show. And it just got more interesting from there. And that kind of flipped a switch in me. So you're the cool kids. You guys are the ones that led me down that primrose path. So I can blame all three of you for all the ills of my life. Forget the Freudian concept.
You are welcome.
That is a lot of weight to be putting on our shoulders.
Forget Freud.
I'll own it.
Freud.
I will
My
own it.
parents have nothing to
Yes.
do with it. It's all you three.
That is a lot of weight.
You are welcome.
Because I don't know if anyone could shoulder that.
Right. Well, and okay. Here's an addendum that Pat Kirkpatrick and Steve Mogel. I know you guys all know who Steve Mogel is.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And Pat Kirkpatrick, they were the other ones that dragged me down to see the show 2 and 3 more times. And that's when I started getting in with the decrepit, debauched nature of what you were doing. I smelled marijuana in the ladies' room.
There was debauchery.
There was marijuana in the ladies' room?
I'm presuming there was debauchery.
There was marijuana in the ladies' room.
Debauchery we know about, right? About the marijuana.
Oh, debauchery. Oh, yes, there was definitely debauchery.
There, I knew it because
And
I had gone to
Smoking
use.
in the girls' room?
Every day.
There were guys in women's makeup smoking marijuana in the ladies' room.
I don't recall that. I mean, in all seriousness, I do not recall that.
My 17-year-old virgin eyes, ears, and nose.
When it comes to Mark, you guys, you gotta believe it happened. Okay.
I knew it happened before the show because
Blame the guy who's not here.
Early 1980s
But
teenagers.
he was a pro. So.
I always made it a point. I was very particular because I was performing, and so I would never
Ever.
do anything pre-show.
Pre-show.
And after the show, we'd go to the orphanage or we were
we tear it up.
Yeah.
At least till the next night.
But
The show that we're talking about.
I took it I took performing at the Rocky Show very seriously. I did never. I never set foot on stage impaired ever.
I did until I get hit by a roll of toilet papers, and then it was
on like
attention
Donkey
span
Kong.
of a squirrel. Yeah.
And then it's on like Donkey Kong.
Jack was very
Who the
proud
fuck
of that.
threw that? All right, so let's wind it back to the origin. We're talking about Hollywood. Okay, we're going back to Hollywood. You guys were
That's a good idea.
at the time.
Yeah, sure.
Are you taking a break? You're at your.
No, he'll be right back.
I have nothing to say about Hollywood, so you talk to them.
Oh, yes, you didn't come till after Hollywood.
He's in search.
You two were part of
in search of a beverage.
You two were part of what do you call that day when you guys were banished,
Well,
sent away?
Before all these school shootings and everything else, we used to call it the Sunday morning massacre, but
Right.
we don't call it that anymore.
Right.
It's just
No,
now
it's
it's
just
the
insensitivity.
it's real simple. Just a Sunday morning mass firing, or even better, the perfect storm.
It was
Okay.
It was.
And
It was literally like a sort of a reformat button that Marshall had pushed. He hit that button,
Right.
and all of us were gone. And when I say all of us, I might be jumping the shark here a little, but everybody was fired. I wasn't.
no, you were one of the stars.
I
You were.
was not fired, but because my friends were fired, and again, you've heard us talk about how close we are, how important that closeness is, how protective we are of each other. They were fired. There was no damn way I was going to stick around without
Right.
them. So I got my ass up and went with them.
Yeah. Well, the problem was the guy that ran the show was a real tyrant.
That's being kind.
What?
And his casting of his principals was all by tenure, by how long they've been there.
Not talent.
So you had this whole group of very talented understudies,
Right.
waiting for our chance. So thank God another theater got a copy of the film, and it opened on late on January 1st, actually morning of January 2nd, 12 o'clock in the morning. January 2nd, 1982. We got fired on December 27th. So we had 5.5 days to scramble to put together a Rocky show.
That's right.
And we went crazy. We were stealing wheelchairs out of hospitals. We got one of those steel.
We might have acquired. We didn't actually steal it.
Whatever. We got a steel cart. Also from a hospital that
Right.
we used for everything. It was a jukebox. It was a throne. It was a food tray. I mean, we used that thing for everything.
Hit every thrift shop to find every single costume piece we could.
Me and Donnie, even the day of our first show, me and Donnie are down at the swap shop.
That's right.
Garage sale area with
Yep.
all the other, looking for props because we have a show to open that night. I mean, we had literally 5.5 days to put a show together, and we pulled it off. And it was either succeed or fail. And if it failed, we'd have to go back to that tyrant. And
Gonna have a pack of cigarettes. It's
Right.
dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
that wasn't going to happen. We were going to succeed, and we did. And
Yeah, we did.
and because of that situation, though, the Cost of Perfect Storm brought these people together. And now, of course, our story is 345 pages here of Confessions of a Transylvanian.
Available on Amazon Kindle.
And you can read our story. And these guys did a terrific job of describing
You got my cheese whiz, boy?
our situations, and that story's in there also. And by the time you get through this book, you'll know all 15 of us intimately.
So for those of you out there that follow us on social media, you'll sometimes hear us talk about something that seems sort of random or obtuse, and we'll throw a reference to Confessions of a Transylvanian. That's why.
But he's serious about there's like 15 of you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're-
I mean, there's husbands and other spouses
And really, by and large, you look at that photo, the reality is the vast mass of that group, every time we have a reunion, can be counted on to be there.
Sure. Hell yeah.
Surprised you don't have the pictures of Andrews there.
What would?
I didn't know about any of those. I didn't know some of those existed.
Yeah.
Oh, Daddy Russ and I are talking about our Magenta brought some photo albums, and some of us had just seen these photos for the first time, literally minutes before tonight's show started. So,
Well,
those will probably appear in a later episode.
Well, we don't want to jam it down their throat. I mean, we've been having a good time talking. We've been
True.
going at it for 35 minutes, and it feels like we've been here for 5 minutes. So,
Barely touching anything.
But
we've barely scratched the syphilitic surface, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, not syphilitic, maybe just a little itchy, but
People are hungry for the Wild and Untamed Things story, though.
they
And
are.
it's not just a Rocky story; it's a coming of age story also.
Yes, it is.
Sex, drugs, and Rocky Horror.
It is also, if you've read the book, you have to admit it's a love story and a thank you letter to every single person that has ever been in Rocky, has ever been to a show.
And it's incredibly funny. I highly recommend you don't eat anything when you read this book. You'll be spitting it out all over the place. It happens all the time.
Well, in like I said, in my cursory readings, I see what both of you do see. I see a motion picture. I see a full length, 3.5 hour epic directed by Quentin Tarantino. But I also see an episodic show that 24 episodes. 30 episodes? I think you can get 30 episodes. I think you get 310
How many
episode
chapters are in
seasons
the book,
out of
Joe?
it. I think you can get 30.
Was there 28, 20? How
No,
many chapters in the-
Especially if your
I've
run
seen-
times go 30 to 40 minutes.
I've seen comedic. I mean, the way the book is written, and the way that we've talked about possibly putting it together,
Right.
it's like a Wonder Years kind of older
Precise.
narrator character talking about this is what it was like when I was a kid, and then you you see what's actually happening in real time. And then
Right.
Ron and I talked about this because when we talked about possibly putting together either a movie or a TV show version of the book,
Right.
that was immediately what we thought of, and we never discussed it.
Well, you read the audiobook, though. You read the whole thing out. That's your voice in the audiobook read.
Yeah.
I know. I listened to 40 minutes of it. Trust me.
Which a lot of the reviewers find fantastic. That it's the author himself that's reading the book, which I guess is rare in your industry, right?
Yes. It's very rare to have the actual author of a book read the audiobook.
Sure you don't have like writers going, oh, so you think this is easy? Is that what it is? It's like, yeah, well, like this is hard.
Well, in my experience doing audiobooks, a lot of authors who would really, really love to read their own books, they just don't feel they have the skills, and they just back off, and they prefer to sit behind the microphone and just write the words, and that's
Right.
great.
And Jack's a trained actor. I mean,
But not everybody's Orson Welles.
Well,
Exactly.
and I get books from people all the time who say, oh, I'll read the book and they'll say, oh, thank you for bringing my words to life, but it's their words.
Right.
I'm just providing I'm the conduit.
Right.
If it sounds good, it's because the words are good.
Well, as an orator, okay, I'm a bit of an old radio nerd, especially the old radio shows pre-1934, back to the early 20s. Okay, we're talking about vaudeville on the radio, things like that. But when you go back to Orson Welles, who probably had the very first audiobook, when he read out War of the Worlds and acted out War of the Worlds, because he was most of the voice characters on that. He was definitely the
was
reporter.
panic all over the East
Yeah.
Coast on that one.
Okay, that was probably the very first audio book. Because, I mean, I've read War of the Worlds, his version of War of the Worlds. It was fantastic. H.G. Wells, Orson Welles. It was magical. Let's put it that way.
It was definitely probably the most well-known version of a story.
Of a classic.
That's supposed to be great. Audiobooks predate that, but what you're talking about, which is so cool, is there was never an audio production that came out of a studio that affected so many people before then
Right.
than what Wells did. There were
Right.
audiobooks. What's interesting about the history of audiobooks is when they first started reading, because that's what they did. You know, the first time they figured out how to put audio on a
The little barrel
disc. Yeah, the
disc.
barrels.
Right.
They would read stories, but they realized that they only had about a minute or 2 minutes.
Right.
So they'd read nursery rhymes. That's why so many of the early ones are nursery rhymes.
Oh, okay.
And but then when they figured out how to make them longer and longer, and then they finally put them on vinyl and they made them these bigger things, then it started to stretch out and become longer. But it wasn't until Orson Welles did War of the Worlds that you realized the power of the broadcast word and the power of, you hear the cylinder being twisted off and it's a real sound, without warning the audience first that what you were hearing was fiction. People were losing their minds.
Right, and it was so well recreated. I mean, because at that time, you had Wuthering Heights. You had all of these. You had the Adventures of the Lone Ranger. You had all these mega radio shows. And not a lot of people were putting out a full-length, like, novelization story, okay, that stayed true to the H.G. Wells story, but was set out as a news broadcast.
Well, imagine that.
And the
Imagine that
gravitas
now.
of Orson Welles' voice as
Yeah.
he scared the entire fucking nation,
Right.
including
Imagine-
Canada.
Imagine if they did that now. Imagine if one of the broadcast stations, a big one, NBC, CBS, Fox,
Right.
major, was broadcasting from the site of a landing, and they didn't know what was really going on, and they were following it, and it was so well done. All the tech, and you saw the cylinder opening up. But they never said beforehand, what you're watching is fiction, which is what Wells did.
Right.
He just broadcasted. Imagine how many people across this country would buy that,
Right.
would be riveted to the TV and buy that.
Well, I believe they were obligated to take 18-minute breaks. I think they were only allowed to read or go for 18 minutes, and then they had to take a break because, of course, they had to pay the bills. They had to read. He would read his live copy, or one of the actresses would read the live copy in between, like every 18 minutes, and they would come back with a disclaimer at the end of the break. Now we rejoin War of the Worlds. And no, they did rejoins like a fucking news story, and they forgot one time, so they had about 40 minutes of this just massively panic, like you said, with the lid coming open and the revelation, and they forgot to do that one disclaimer, and all the people started tuning in. It started to snowball, and that's when it really happened. And when the disclaimer came back after, I believe it was like their 5th break, 6th break. And they had to do a disclaimer like every 3. You are listening to a fictional account. You are listening to a fictionalized novel from the author H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. Because nobody knew who the hell H.G. War of the Worlds was in Iowa, you know?
Exactly. And imagine if we did that now. Imagine if the American public watched an hour of "We are being invaded by aliens."
I think the latest iteration, the Tom Cruise iteration of War of the Worlds, I think they had a news reporter type of a situation there, but even that got out of hand because when it gets right down to it, if we ever get invaded by aliens, it's just not going to go well for us at all.
Not likely, yeah.
And the flu ain't going to stop them. You know, a head cold ain't going to stop them. You know, but How did we get into H2O? Audiobooks. Audiobooks. Back up. Audiobooks. But still, your audiobook, like I said, I listened to a little more than 40 minutes of your audiobook, and you can already tell that you're going to be the narrator. You're going to be the voice. I mean, I can already tell that. You can just put rudimentary acting sets underneath that narration.
I love that you say that because, as Jack said earlier, we hadn't had a chance really to talk about this beforehand, and yet we have perfectly aligned on several points, including perspective, voiceover, him being the
I'm
voice.
waiting for your first fight. I'm waiting for your first disagreement, your first argument. Like, no, it's not how that happened. Yes, it is. You're an asshole.
You're going to probably be waiting because we went through this process, remember, to write Confessions of a Transylvanian.
I'll be waiting until I'm the guy standing behind you guys on the podium accepting the trophies and hugging you. Yes. I'm not going to have shit to say, but I'll be allowed to come on the stage and stand behind you guys and go, yes, and get the hugs, and I'll kiss the trophies. And
it's much easier to stay friends when absolutely no money is involved whatsoever.
Well, it's okay. No, I'm not going to get my money involved. Somebody else's money is getting involved. Are you kidding? You're going to give me something to sell.
Once we have some scripts and whatever, then we got something.
Right. Well, they're going to give me something to sell.
A tangent that we can,
Right.
Don't let this podcast fool you. I haven't been trying to sell this to anybody. I've been trying to build this podcast audience organically, which is the reason why I bring a variety of guests and I bring a variety of people. I've now gone back to some of my adult roots. I'm bringing in strippers. My co-hostess, she is an adult entertainer herself. And she's a cutie. Sam sings. She's a real cutie. But I've gone back to my adult people, and I've gone back to my comedian people, and I've gone back to my actor friends. And now here you guys are. And we have a full-blown property that can explode. And we can sit here and talk about it because nobody can come steal it because Jack owns it.
It's ours. Yeah.
Ron owns it.
And we have talked
and Russ will
about
kick your ass.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet if it's going to be one or the other or both. We don't know if it's
do
going
both.
to be episodic or we just right now we're in the process of hammering out the story.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's really wonderful about this story. And those of you who've read the book will agree. I mean, literally, two really wonderful things about the book. One is it's like peeling an artichoke, man. The layers go deeper and deeper and deeper. The other thing is each chapter essentially stands on its own. Yeah, I have done this. I know everybody here in this room has done this. You can go pick up the book, crack it open to a page, start reading, and you'll be laughing within 5 minutes.
5?
It carries itself so well.
It takes you 5 minutes.
I'm getting older. Oh, I'm sorry. What we're talking? Oh, sorry.
It's one of your stories.
It's true though, but that's the whole point. Is it's that self-awareness. I'm reading, and I quickly forget. You know, it's kind of like you watch an actor that you really admire, and he's or she has wrapped up themselves into a role, and you forget
Sure.
you're watching the actor. You see the character.
Method, baby, method. Live it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at Joaquin Phoenix. He lived the Joker role even when the cameras were off.
Yep. Tom Hanks
You know?
is Walt Disney. I know we talked about this. on
Yeah,
our
oh,
show.
yeah.
You know,
lived
the book's very well written. I mean, a lot of times you'll hit one point, and that point will come up later in a more funnier situation, wherever the case may be. It's
talking about this book.
it's fantastic. I mean, the storytelling here is just unbelievable. And for those
That
for
book-
those who haven't read it,
And these people,
it's
Oh, my
these guys have done a
goodness,
fantastic
yes.
job. Fantastic job.
And that right there, actually, that photo says a lot about who we are as a family, because the book release party was our publishers in Chicago, and that's where the book release party was. And so many of our fellow cast members said, "Yeah, we want to be there for that," and they flew up. And again, an opportunity seeing these people is great by us.
And there were some people who didn't come up that didn't necessarily like the fact that we talked about what we were going through then, and we gave them the opportunity. When we first published the book, before we published the book, we put out drafts of the book, and we distributed them to everyone. And said,
I
"Look,
remember that.
Read through this.
I remember that.
This is a story we're going to tell. If you don't agree with what we're saying," and we never used anybody's last names.
Right.
It's only the first names. And I
Right,
said,
right.
Ron and I both approached them, and we said, "Look, if you don't want to hear this, if you don't want your name attached to this, you can change your name. We will change your name, but we will not change the story, because the stories are true. At least
right.
true as we remember them.
That's right.
the names were
right.
changed to
And
protect
a
my
couple of people,
ass, my
only
own
a couple of
ass.
people.
Actual events.
Yeah.
Very few people said, "Yeah, change my name," but the rest of them said, "No, leave it the way it is," because they remember it the same way we did,
The
or
hell-
close enough.
The hell of it was, though, for a couple of those people changing the names. They read the book. The more it sat with them, the more they realized, "Oh, I guess you could have used my name."
Yeah. Well, not only that, the readers have the epiphany with this book, because even though it was 40 years ago, they're experiencing all the things that Jack experienced, and experiencing all the things that we experienced, and they say, "I know those people. That happened to me. We got a Ron in our cast." In every review of Confessions, they have this epiphany going, "I experienced that. These people," and the writing job in this thing is fantastic, and that comes across very, very well. So that's another one of the amazing parts of Confessions of a Transylvanian. So great.
A
That's not
literal
fair, man.
headshot.
Jesus, if I had a picture of me looking like Emilio, God damn it, Estevez,
Here,
I'd hold
here
it
you
up to,
go.
oh, really?
But it's
really?
all, anyway, it's part of the phenomena of experiencing this book.
Yeah.
And the good writing job these guys did of describing these people, because when they do meet us, they say, "I know you. I know you guys, man. I know from everything that they said in the book about you. You are you are exactly who I thought you were."
They are who we thought they were.
We'll get it during our commercial break.
Yeah, we'll get it during the commercial break.
Actually, I also wanted to share. We had the opportunity to go up to New York for the 40th anniversary, and got to meet a lot of fans who had
Look
read
at
the
Mark
book.
Holt in my my
Mark,
message.
Mark, we love you.
Mark out. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, nice.
Fake stories.
Uh-oh.
That's awesome.
It's Mark and Pete in the same chat room.
Books on. Well, digital. I love the books on tape. Anybody actually record anything on tape these days? What? Drunks.
Tell your story.
Which one?
The 40th anniversary story. You were just telling.
I was.
Yeah, you didn't finish it.
I didn't.
Come on.
The stage manager never leaves this man. Actually, the thing that really moved both of us was getting to meet a lot of fans who had read the book.
Right.
And They were just excited to meet us, talk to us, relate to us how the cast that they were a part of had people like some of the characters that we had described. And that was a recurring narrative. Really meant a lot to us. Nobody ever came up to us and said, your book sucks. It's stupid. Everybody really
They kept that to themselves.
Yeah, they did. Those people just walked around.
They came up
us.
and go, this book? You wrote this book? Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
Well, like I said, a lot of people experience the Confessions epiphany, and that's the amazing part. That's the amazing part of the writing of this book, and the amazing part of the story that that gets told here.
Well, yeah, and what Russ is saying is absolutely true.
In this book.
We really hoped that anyone who read the book, who had been involved in the Rocky Horror experience, would at least on some level be able to identify with what we talked about.
But it
not everything.
Yeah, but it's happened over and over and over again.
That's the most gratifying thing is when people have been in it 20 years after we did it. 30 years after we did it.
Yeah.
They say, oh yeah, those same dynamics are true now as they were then. That's the best, because we didn't write it for them.
It's the best
It
compliment.
just translates to them.
And Mark Holt is a fucking rock
Sunday
star.
and Andrea and Tony and
Mark Holt is a fucking rock star.
Rock star.
Simple as that. All right, kids, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we will come right back with. I'm going to subject Kevin to the 7 deadly questions. Whether
7 deadly questions.
or
That's
not.
it.
Screw those guys. We'll do it ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
It's the Gonzo and Jack show. How did the camera get sideways? Who kicked the camera?
Jack Radio. Wait, here we go.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Overcorrection. Here we go. There you go. Hi, everybody.
They'll deal with it when they
You know what?
get
Yeah,
back.
screw it. Okay, so we are back, and it is a special episode of the Gonzo Radio Show with Jack
Come back in
Geist.
about half an hour, Rob. We're all good.
We're good. Eat your crackers. Have fun. and a little bit of mayhem has broken out. Now we have crackers and cheese, and we have the 7 deadly questions. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the intro.
question.
Yes.
I'm very intimidated.
All right, these are the 7 deadly questions. They're based on the 7 deadly sins,
Oh,
which would be lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride.
very well.
I have a list. Okay, and we're just going to start right off. I know you're a married man.
Special edition.
Relax. You know you're a married man.
I'm a married
So
man.
we're going to give you a hall pass. If you could have sex with anybody, ever, who would it be?
Besides me.
Besides Cheesy McCheese
No,
face over there.
my wife and I have an agreement.
Oh, you have a hall pass.
I do. The wonderful, talented, and truly gorgeous actress Salma Hayek.
Oh, of course.
Were she to approach me and say, Kevin, I find you very attractive and I would like to spend the night with
Push him
you,
over.
my wife
Watch.
not only would give me a hall pass,
She would want to watch.
she
participate.
She would want me to agree to allow her to have the same hall pass.
Oh,
Someone
okay.
To approach her.
The
nice.
coolest couple ever.
Because
And
why
you
would
want,
you say
want,
no to her?
Right. Well,
Man or
want
woman?
you want the Salma Hayek from Dusk Till Dawn.
No. Desperado.
Desperate. Oh, sweaty.
But honestly, and 30 Rock, and literally anything. I would
Wow,
take the
30 Rock.
Frida Kahlo, one eyebrow Selma Hayek over virtually any person living.
Salma Hayek in
With a unibrow.
in the Hitman's Bodyguard,
Yeah.
where she calls him a fucking cucaracha.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going.
the filthiest,
oh, that's
nastiest
Selma
mouth.
Hayek. No, that's unacceptable. No, I'm not.
And
in the
she's
least bit
our
interested in her.
age. She's
Oh,
literally
an
our age. She's
extraordinary-
like 52,
but I mean,
53
that's
years
what I'm
old.
saying. It's
Wow.
not just that she's a beautiful human being. She's
Right.
an absolutely beautiful human being, but she's also supremely talented and funny, and
Yeah, oh yeah.
that's what makes her sexy. It's not just the fact that she's one of the most beautiful.
Pardon
women
my
alive.
objectification, but you are a queen, okay? You are a
She's
queen.
an
It's
amazing
totally out of respect.
performer and everything else.
They asked me this question. I came up with Sofia Vergara. So.
You have a microphone, dude. You're handheld.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, Sofia
That's
Vergara.
one of the
Yeah.
7
Another one who's in her
deadly
late
sins.
40s, and she looks like she's in her mid 20s.
She's so
what-
sexy. Oh
What are
my
the
God.
other 6 deadly sins?
He wants more. He wants the more 7 deadly questions. Okay, number 2, gluttony. Being a fat guy, I'm kind of an expert with this. Gluttony. What is that? That one food that you can like lay on the couch and just shovel in your face?
It's more of a.
That's more of a drinking problem, right?
No, go out and eat every day. It's sushi. My family.
Sushi. What's your favorite roll?
Oh.
Or favorite rolls?
Anything with eel. in it.
Anything eel.
Yeah. My family. My wife is half Japanese, so my kids are quarter Japanese. So we've been taking them out for Japanese food their entire lives, and literally, there's no food better for them or for me. As an Irish German,
Oh yeah.
I would rather
Or
I
poke
could
bowls.
eat-
Poke bowls are awesome too.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
And
They're like Pokemon. No, poke bowl.
All this talk
I will
of
go to my
sushi.
grave saying that Asian food is the greatest food on the planet, and Asian desserts are the worst food on the planet. Nobody makes
Yeah.
dessert better than the Europeans, the French, the Italians, the Germans, the Austrians.
Because Asians aren't frivolous,
But-
and dessert is a frivolous food.
as an entree, give me Chinese food, Thai food, Japanese food.
You want
I
you want
mean,
spice. You want variety. You want.
It's the greatest. But then
yes,
when
definitely.
you're done, oh my God, never eat because they're all gummy. They look like gummy bears and bowls of Jello. It's just Asian desserts are horrible.
Yeah,
But-
I agree. I totally agree. And European desserts are great. I mean, have you ever been to Amsterdam? I know
never
Ron
been to
lived near
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam
No.
for a long time. And Ron will attest to this.
Yes.
There's a baked goods shop on every fucking corner. Like they knew that there were going to be American and European stoners touring around high as a kite going, oh, baked goods. Did you just have some an hour ago? Yeah, but that was an hour ago, and this is a different place.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. It's the same type of store. What, we've been walking around in circles? Yeah. All right, well, let's get a couple of those stroopwafels, and we'll talk about
stroopwafels.
stroopwafels. They're crazy. See? I only had to say the word stroopwafels.
Yeah.
I smuggled them back. At one time I came back, I smuggled no weed, no hash. I smuggled stroopwafels back.
Yeah.
Three packages. I
Yeah, lekker.
smuggled them back.
Lekker stroopwafels.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
But okay, on to number 3. Greed. Greed. What is that one thing that you have to have a lot? Everybody's got to have a lot of money. Everybody wants as much money as possible. But what is that thing that you have to have around you that you like to collect? You covet. What is it? The thing that you must have besides sushi?
That is such a great question.
Well, you got the Great Chicago Exposition collection of stuff. You know.
No, and Russ brings up a great. I'm a collector of memorabilia from the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. I have pictures, I have books, I have memorabilia, I have cards. I have all that
Ron,
stuff.
why are you snickering, Ron? Why?
I'm totally sorry. I sidebar just for a second.
Yeah, that's Ron. That's Mark.
What? Mark's texting you?
Let me
Go ahead,
finish this. There are many things that I treasure. There's certain things, like I collect spoons and pictures and things from the 1893 World's Fair.
Right.
But honestly,
It's not
what means the most to me is vacations with my family. We went to New Orleans last year, and
Oh my God, really? Yeah,
I spent a
that's-
week with my family in New Orleans, Louisiana, and not just the fact that I was in New Orleans, which is great for anyone if you've ever been there. It's a beautiful city to visit. But to be there with my wife and my kids was literally the greatest. And I covered
I
that.
totally buy it. It's a great place.
I want to be in. That's what I want more than anything else. Is I want to
Time
be,
with the family.
But yeah,
Doing
always
stuff.
always time with my family. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
being able to expose them to new experiences and new cultures and new. My daughter Sam said, we've taken them all over the country, and we took them once to London. We're not fabulously wealthy people, but we took them to London. And Sam said New Orleans was her favorite place to go.
New Orleans is good, and that's not even because she was there drinking, which is one huge thing that everybody does in New Orleans. But the eating, of course, the food there, they have world-class food
The vibe.
in 5 different directions. They have world-class music.
Yeah.
World-class music.
Yeah.
Their street performers they're only street performers because the people in the clubs are really fucking good. And the street performers are really good.
Yeah.
You know, and it's rough when you're a musician there. You have to be on a different level I mean, it's New Orleans. But yeah, that's awesome to do. Are you kidding? Okay, move on to number 4. Sloth. What is that thing you like to get out of doing?
Get out of doing.
the one thing that you really, really hate to do.
Well, I live in Chicago, so
Something involving snow.
yeah, it's
Snow and a shovel?
It's shoveling the front walk and the back walk, because a lot of people think when you own a house in Chicago, the real bummer is, I have to shovel the front walk, completely forgetting the fact that even to get from your place to the garage, you got to shovel that sidewalk, and then once you get to the garage, you got to shovel your way out into the alley, which they don't plow. So you guys, anybody listening to this podcast who lives in a southern clime, who doesn't know what it is to shovel snow, it's not your my front sidewalk. That takes 5 minutes. There's another 50 minutes you got to do just to get from your house to the garage, and then to get your goddamn car out of the garage. And then you hope that your neighbors have also shoveled out the back of their place, and that the city where you're living in has shoveled the streets. Because you can't get 4 blocks without worrying that you're going to kill someone unless they've taken care of that. So, yeah.
Jerry fell asleep. Jerry, wake up!
Jerry.
Wake up, Jerry! Okay, so the chat room. And can I tell you, I'm hearing just the slightest bit of your diatribe in the living room. You're getting a giggle out of the living room. You're getting it. Thanks,
Good.
everybody. That was a funny story. It really was. Okay. Moving on. Beer burp. Okay, excuse me. I'm a professional. I didn't do it on camera. Wrath. Addendum to Wrath. We have to exclude Donald John Trump. Exclude him. Jesus. Everybody who has any sort of left wing or any sort of centrist or any sort of rationalist leaning, of course, wants to take a poke at him. But we're not talking about him. But who would you love the most to just take an unfettered swing and punch right in the face? Unobstructed.
That's a really tough one.
We'll even hold him up.
I'm not a wrathful person, but this era of politics is infuriating.
Defies reality and logic.
For instance, if I were to say, even 12 years ago, 10 years ago, I want to punch John Boehner in the face. That's an easy thing to say. He's 10 years older than me. If I said today, I want to punch Mitch McConnell in the face, I don't want to punch Mitch McConnell in the face.
How about just one of his chins? Just maybe like the second of three chins.
I want to watch him lose in a horrible electoral defeat. I want him to be crushed in the next election.
Yeah,
but I don't want to punch him in the face. But no. Okay. No, you asked me the question.
You're the guest.
Who do I want to punch in the face?
Yes.
The people I want to punch most in the face are the ones who know better. Are the ones who proclaim that they're telling us the truth when they know they're telling us the lies. The guy I want to punch the most in the face is someone like Sean Hannity or
Talking Head.
Yeah, what's again? It used to be in the bow tie.
Bow tie.
Fox News. The ones who know better and lie to us anyway. The ones who are proclaim to be in the media but are not really journalists. Who have audiences.
Pretty much anybody on the Fox network, I would take it.
Well, yes, but
not entirely because you have guys like Shepard Smith, who tells it like it is. Shepard Smith still with them? I think Shep Smith's still with them.
No, he quit.
He quit. He walked away.
He had to.
Okay, well, coming to MSNBC sometime soon. Most likely CNN.
I understand why a politician has to say what they say.
And Chris Wallace.
Up until a certain level.
Right.
But, for example, Adam Schiff's speech in his closing of the impeachment trial this week was so mesmerizingly brilliant. He was so articulate and empathetic and
ardent,
authentic. Yeah. He was not just spouting some party line. He meant every word he said.
The waterworks were real?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about it for me.
Well, I mean, you know me. I'm a little bit of a cynic. At the base and the core, they're all whores. They're all whores monetarily beholden to somebody, whether it be a donor or a corporation or a group, okay, a collective. They're all beholden to somebody.
I
not a lot of independent thought.
But I do not share your cynicism.
I know.
Let me put it that way.
I know. You're
I'm a little more idealistic,
right?
Despite everything I've shown my entire life.
You were such a moderate Democrat when this whole thing started, and you were like me. I mean, I'm a center left guy, and you were so like me. You were like, there's no way that Donald Trump's going to be president.
No way.
Get out of here.
No way.
What are you, an idiot? This is the United States of America.
That's
There's no
exactly
way we do
right.
something that stupid.
And
look at us
right.
now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my reason is I didn't like the dude since 1985 when he was on the Howard Stern show. at WNBC. And he was on the Howard Stern show. And I said, this guy sounds like a jerk off. And then about 3 weeks later, he was on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And I was like, well, look, he is a jerk off. Okay. So, and then as life went on, I encountered more people that had business dealings with him. And boy, is he a jerk off. Okay. But you've got Meemaw and Pop in Texas sitting in their double wide, clutching their pearls, going, he's the greatest president in the history of the United States. And they got the flag going, and they got the red hat going. And it's like, now I'm like, all right, this is professional wrestling. This is reality TV. It's professional wrestling. And I'm kind of checking out. I know what it is. I've seen what it is. It is what it is, what it is. And I'm kind of checking out. And I see how mad you get. I feel bad for you. Sometimes I do. I feel bad for you. Because it's yelling into the tunnel. It's yelling into the darkness. It's raging against the darkness. And the darkness doesn't care sometimes.
Okay.
Oh, he's adjusting.
Yeah. I'm going to... Here, come here. Talk to Uncle Jack here for a minute.
The views and opinions...
I want to make one thing very clear.
Yeah.
There's a great quote from someone who was interviewed, or they were talking about the era when the Nazis were rising in power.
Right.
He said, "Why do you speak out to those who will not change their minds? You're not going to change their minds."
Yeah.
Right. And the quote, and I honestly am so ashamed that I'm not able to properly attribute it. It's not about me wanting to change someone else. It's about them not being able to change me.
Right. Oh yeah.
Whether what you believe makes a difference in the world, whether what you believe or speak changes someone else's mind is irrelevant.
Right.
It's absolutely irrelevant. If you, Gonzo, if you and I were the only two people in America that believed anything, pick a topic. You and I were the only two people in America who believed that women should have the right to choose, or that money shouldn't belong in politics, or that there should be a national endowment for the arts.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you and I are the only two people who believe that. Number one, we should be allowed to express our opinion about that.
Oh, yeah.
And number two, we shouldn't be afraid to express our opinion about that, worried that if we said that, we get fired from our job.
Right.
Or our family would kick us out and never speak to us again. Or our friends would disavow knowing us.
It's kind of the new coming out.
There was a thing on Facebook that said, if you ever wondered what it's like, what it must have been like 70 years ago, 80 years ago, 90 years ago, to speak out against the Nazis, to speak out against the anti-Semites, to speak out against anyone who ever came down against an oppressed minority. You're living through it now. What are you doing now, right now, to fight against what's currently happening in our country? Because what you're doing right now is what you would have done in the 30s or 40s in Germany, in the 30s or 40s in France, in England, in this country. Go back and look it up. Look up what America First was. Years ago, 50 years before Trump.
Joe Kennedy had no desire to get into a conflict with Germany because he was making money. He was making money selling goods to the Carnegies didn't want it. The Carnegies were selling steel. Okay, a lot of those German tanks had Carnegie steel, Pennsylvania steel in them. Okay, I understand the history. I understand what you're talking about. You know, they came first. They came for the Jews. I said nothing. Then they came for the homosexuals. I said nothing. They came for the journalists. I said nothing. When they came for me, nobody was left to speak for me.
Right.
Okay, I understand that concept. But right now, what we're dealing with a reality versus surreality, being Facebook, being Twitter, being social media. Okay, and I've seen a lot of your missives. I've seen a lot of your arguments with friends of mine who either share more of a right-wing bend or more of a pragmatic, so prove it bend, and you're just like, you make no sense, and I understand this, and I go, yeah, he doesn't, and there's going to be dozens of people like that are going to be trolling you and getting your goat like that, and what I've done is I've decided that I'm going to put my money do the talking. I'll still spout a little nonsense here, especially stuff that doesn't, make sense to me. I'll spout my opinion. I'll give my opinion on something. But currently my opinion, probably for the last 15, 20 years, has been that it is all a professional wrestling job, okay, and that one side plays the bad guy, the other side plays the good guy, i.e. the Republicans and the Democrats. It's heels versus baby faces. And the only people that are making money are the heels and the baby faces. And they're doing, in some instances, defying reality and doing whatever the fuck they want. And no matter how many paragraphs I put on Facebook, the one thing that helps is I put my money where my mouth was. I send my money to whomever I want to represent my money, because that's all we're doing now is representing our money. I put that. I give that money to whomever I want to represent my money, whatever politician that may be. I pay them. I give them my donation. That's the most effective way, because paragraph after paragraph after you can make all that. You can yell into that dark tunnel. Okay, sure. You can yell into that dark tunnel. But you know what? Every once in a while, just a handful of money and that too. Okay, and that too. Fight the good fight for your guy, your girl. Fight the good fight. I've donated to Republicans and Democrats alike. Okay, I was part of the lunatic H. Ross Perot campaign in 1990. Okay, I've been there. I see what the deplorables see. Except but I just think that social media is yelling down that dark tunnel, but I'm sure you are far more active in other areas. You're putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah,
putting your time and efforts in.
Yes.
And that's great too. I don't want you to have an anger stroke from having to deal with trolls on Facebook. I mean, I've had a half a day ruined.
No. I've had so many people say to me, "Why would you bother to have these arguments online with people?" And I have these hours-long arguments.
Right.
That's fun for me.
Right.
I'm
it's
not
recreation.
having aneurysm. People always say, "Oh, it must make you so mad. You must be so pissed." Oh, no.
Right.
It's a sport for me. But it's also, I educate people.
Whether they want to or not.
I never post anything online ever that I don't back up with something. Factual. And people say, "Oh, yeah." Like, I'll post some innocuous, perfectly vanilla thing, Newsweek. Not New York Times, which the New York Times, they're crazy, the liberal. They're okay, fine.
Yeah.
I will post to the Wall Street Journal. It's owned by Rupert Murdoch himself, Mr. Fox News.
Oh yeah.
But they if I post anything that's mainstream media, I get more crap from people who say, "Oh,
fake news.
You're fake news.
It's fake news."
And the quickest.
Yes, I'm saying that with a southern accent. It's fake news.
You don't have to, because even up where I come, and I always say to them, "Okay,
fake.
You think that what I read is fake? Fine. Give me the most unbiased, trustworthy news source in America. You tell me." What is the most unbiased, trustworthy font of information in America? And no conservative can ever tell me what it is that they trust, because they're never going to say, "I watch Fox all day. I watch Breitbart all day."
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Period. I tried Reuters. I tried BBC America. I tried everything.
I can tell you. You want an unbiased source of news?
Yeah.
NPR.
NPR. There's a kerfuffle today. Matt Pompeo is getting into it. One of NPR's best reporters.
Secretary Pompeo.
Yeah.
Challenged an NPR reporter, Mary Louise Kelly, to
Yeah,
find
Mary
Ukraine
Kelly.
on a map.
Mary Kelly's gorgeous.
And she,
too. Oh, my
of
God.
course, because she's an experienced national security journalist,
Said,
it's right there. And he said, Bangladesh. I'm sorry, Bangladesh is 1,000 miles away. They think you're Belarus, Secretary Pompeo?
He's a
They're
meatball.
crazy.
He's a meatball.
Let me be clear. I've hijacked your.
It's okay.
I'd rather talk about Rocky Horror, but
all right. Well, let's make a quick U-turn back to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, back to the Confessions of a Transylvanian. Oh, look, Russ is back. Hey, how you doing, Russ?
Oh, waiting for the.
All right, Kevin, readjust the camera angle.
I'm back.
All right, because we're going to break out the oars. We're going to bring this on. First of all, flash us another. There we go. And where would that be available, Ron?
Several places, of course, you'll find it on Amazon.com. You can also go to RockyConfessions.com. If you go to RonFoxMedia.com and click on the links, you'll find it there. Really, pretty much anywhere that you would find the book, you would find the book. Pretty good, right?
Well, what are you guys leaving? What's going on? People are leaving the party. We're taking so long. People are leaving.
Because you guys never shut up.
Wave goodbye to everybody. Yeah, well, it's a talk show.
right.
We're supposed to talk.
No.
So we can tell everybody who you are in the
Tammy's
book.
got an excellent point that people who
that?
talk for a long time, you have to listen to them for a long time.
Right? Have you people ever watched a Joe Rogan podcast? Yes. Joe Rogan's on for 2.5 hours.
What he's hoping
Trying to get the chin lined up. There we go.
What he's trying to do is show you this right here.
This wrinkly ass chest. Yeah, that's it.
We haven't even finished. Number 6, Envy.
Envy.
Who would you like to be? Who would you like to swap lives with? Just for a day.
I know exactly who it is.
Oh.
And he's a friend of mine.
Oh.
I haven't actually had a conversation with
Hayek.
him for a
That's
very
Mark
long
Holt.
time.
It's got to be Mark Holt.
No,
Hayek.
there's a Chicago actor and writer named Tracy Letts who wrote the play, the screenplay of August Osage County. He won the Pulitzer Prize. He won the Tony Award for Best Play, and a couple of years later, he won the Tony Award for Best Actor for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And I
Tough
honestly,
role.
I know Tracy personally, but I honestly haven't had a conversation with for 20 years. Really, really wonderful guy. I deeply admire him. And I would,
Right on.
I would change places with Tracy in a minute because I just think he's not
Just to live
good-
inside that skin.
He's not just a really successful artist. He's also just a really good person.
Right on. I love people like that. Number 7. Let's bring this bad boy home.
Separate question.
Your 7th and final question. Pride. And this is going to be very subjective. What is that one thing that you are proudest of?
My children.
Yeah. I met your kids. Your kids are amazing.
Yeah.
They're very nice people. They're
it's a-
very smart people.
Well, it's a very selfish thing to have children.
Right.
What?
It's a project.
What in the hell gives us the right to propagate? Why do we think that we should reproduce ourselves on this planet?
Yeah.
Right? What makes us think that we have the right as living beings to even produce more of what we are? It's totally a pride. It's as much of a sin as it is anything else.
Right. Well,
But when you produce children who are better than you are as human beings, I'm not kidding. When you produce children who are better than you are, that's the purpose of being a parent. Is you don't want to replace yourself. You don't think you're so awesome that there should be more of you on the planet. The purpose of being a parent should be, I want the next generation to be better than I was. And that's how I feel about my kids. I feel that my children are better human beings than I am. I think there should be more people on this earth like my children.
I just want to interrupt for a second and say that every single parent in our cast has created the most amazing children.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, whatever they're doing, they need to package that shit up and sell it, because their kids are phenomenally outstanding. Yeah. Really. Seriously. And I mean, right here, I'm talking about the people on either side of me.
And this guy too.
Folks like, Felicia and Tracy. Everybody that man, they're offspring. I don't know what it is. There's something in the water, maybe. Anyway, hey, thanks for having us.
I'm trying to find this picture, and you guys can continue to stall. That would be awesome.
Oh, I can't imagine what we could possibly talk about.
We're bailing.
We'll let Jack talk about Donald John Trump.
Donald John Trump? No, you don't want to hear me talk about it.
Yeah, listen, we're gonna head into the green room.
You know what, Gonzo? It'd be you and me for a bit.
They're leaving us.
We're heading into the green room. We love everybody out there. Thanks for tuning in. Mark, so much love to you. You were missed this weekend.
Fine, go.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. Thanks for supporting our story, for reading the book, and please keep following us, because the script, in whatever form it's going to take, will be coming out. All right, much love to everybody.
Fine, go. Who needs you?
We love you too, Gonzo. Damn it.
I'm not leaving you, Gonzo.
Don't leave me. I'm trying to find. I got a fabulous new picture that was sent to me, and it's killing me that I can't find it right now. And it's a picture of Mark. And I saved it, and it didn't save. What are they doing? Shut up out there, you. Let's see. Over here? No. Some of this? No. All right. Well, you know what? We're going to let that one go, because I can't find it.
This is me and Gonzo.
So, all right.
What's left in the studio?
Listen, it's time for us to go, though. It really is. Jack, thank you so much for being on the show.
Please.
And thank all of you for watching, by all means. And once again, where can we go ahead and get the book? We can get it on Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon.com. You can also listen to the audiobook on Audible.com. Kevin Theis.
Yes.
And last name is Theis.
Yes. And the nickname Jack sticks kind of like the nickname Gonzo sticks. And, of course, you can find us on Gonzo Radio, everything on all platforms. Just punch in Gonzo Radio on all social media platforms, and you'll find us. Hi, how you doing, Gonzo Radio Network. We'll be back again tomorrow night at 8 p.m. with our regular show, the return of the prodigal Jew. The Idaho Jew returns and comes on as a guest because he happens to be a star in Boca Witches, coming out on Amazon Prime soon. So on behalf of myself and on behalf of Ron and Russ, who have left, I'm Big Daddy Gonzo. Thank you very, very much for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow night.
For Gonzo Radio, this is Super Time 6000 2015 for Gonzo Television Station, coming to the greater Sandusky, Ohio area. This is Pirate Bill, and this is Frank Welker saying, watch Transformers.